Hi, y'all. Danny here, and I wanted to do a little. My hair's really messed up from sleeping. A little bit of a bedhead. That's all right. I wanted to talk a little bit today about writing because I know that there are quite a few aspiring writers out there who are watching, and particularly Beguile Thy Sorrow had left me a comment about hearing some things here that they had not been hearing in their writing courses. So I wanted to kind of keep going with that particularly because NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, is coming up in November. And I know a lot of people kind of get really super hyped up about it and get all their words done and then end up with this first draft that I've then heard quite a bit of from quite a few agents that then they just send it off, as if that's the ending of the writing process. Frankly, the once you've built up your 50,000 words, you're going to need to bulk that up to at least 70 or 80,000 words. One of the reasons is because a lot of it is crap. And that's the truth. That's the truth of professional writers. A lot of it is crap. And it's hard to see that when you're first starting and you look at something and you just love like what you've written, or you love certain sentences and things like that. But that's a good time to have a writing group around. Have a critique partner who can go through and say, yeah, you need to change these things. And when you get an agent, and they tend to do a lot of revision stuff too. Like for Velveteen, which is my young adult novel, I'm still working on the revisions to get that out for sale. And the letters come in, they look like this. They're long. These are all long lists of things to do to make it better. And that's a good thing, that you want an agent that's going to go through it and not be afraid to tell you all the things that need to be changed. Today for instance, there are a pair of twins in my book. The book is about ghosts and purgatory and sort of trying to live an existence where you realize that you're not one that's been taken to heaven or hell. You're just sort of in between. You're not it's like you're not good enough. That's kind of what the whole experience is about. And when you get there in my world, you're kind of in stasis. Your soul stays the same shape that you were, the sort of the perfect shape that you were as when you died. But you grow old. You grow old in that shape. So I have a pair of twins who've been dead for quite a while, and they're part of a team with Velvet and Nick, who are my hero and heroine. Heroine and hero, as the case may be. And so anyway, this is point number 7. This is what I'll be working on today. Beyond that, this is directly from my agent, so I hope he doesn't mind me reading it. Beyond that, I want to bring up a larger point about the twins here. It's a tricky task you've set up for yourself, making them old souls in young bodies. I think you need to work on balancing that out a bit more. I found the variance between their intelligence and childishness uneven, and I'd love to see you work on fleshing the two of them out a bit more and really establishing what they are like on a day-to-day basis. They are fascinating characters, so more screen time can only help. And it will also give you more room to strike that balance. See also, and then he lists off a couple of dialogue points that I'll just leave off. So what do I do with that, right? Because that seems like a very broad issue. Well, what I do is I'll start by making a list. I'll make a list of all the points where I feel like the twins are Louisa and Logan, where they make an impact on the story, and I'll make a list of those things, and I'll make a secondary list of where they could possibly impact the story. So if my agent is suggesting more screen time, and my agent in this case is my critique partner, then I'll have to take a look at ways I can show them as being more mentorish. I'd say. I think that if we're looking at an issue of them seeming childish, then I'm going to take it the other direction and make them more like a mentor. And so I've decided that there needs to be a scene in the story where Velvet, my heroine, goes to Louisa, the little girl spirit, for advice because she's lived longer and knows more. So that's going to be a piece that I'm going to inject. The other thing is that I'm going to take a look at each piece where they have dialogue and interactions with other people. I want to make sure that that I amp up the maturity level on their dialogue and the beat that happens around the dialogue, the way that the way that I describe their expressions, the way that I describe their movement, things like that need to be really sort of looked at. And so that's a lot. I also probably need to give them a little bit more more to do in the story, frankly. A little bit more, and in this case, probably a little bit more violence. I think they'll be a little bit more violent, a little bit stronger, and we'll go from there. It's one of those things where, you get these letters, and this one happens to be 34 points long, but one point could take you weeks to figure out. So in attempting to write a novel, you've got to be willing to set the time aside to fix stuff and to really take a harsh, critical look at your own writing and whether it measures up to your own expectations, your sort of perfect reader expectations, and that's someone that you feel like is actually going to get this work, who really will connect with your main character and have certain expectations of the characters around her and of the storyline and the plot. So my perfect reader is someone who likes very dark material and happen to be very irreverent. That's the kind of thing that those two things go together for me. It can be pitch black, there can be murders of children, there can be lots of sort of disturbing imagery, lots of vulgarity, profanity, that kind of thing. And not to say that there's a lot in my young adult book, but there is sex in the young adult book that I've got going. There is profanity. It's just sort of, it's the world we live in, right? And I can't remember a time where I wasn't hearing profanity. I was hearing it in elementary school. So, whatever. It's not shocking. When was the last time the word fuck was shocking? It's just not anymore. It doesn't have any. Violence is much more shocking than people using words. So I know a lot of parents groups and teachers organizations and stuff get upset about too much profanity in books and things, but whatever. I'm kind of going off track. But I'll probably make the kids even curse more. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? But that's just one of the issues. I've finished some. I've got some stuff crossed off. That makes me happy, right? My goal is to finish this revision by the end of October, which is kind of setting a really high goal for me because I'm working at the same time, so I'm only going to be able to do this on the evenings and on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I've kind of put a lot of this aside because I needed to make some money right away. Because that's kind of another thing writers do, You give up some things, you make trade-offs, and hopefully everything turns out for the best. And if it doesn't, you go a different route. That's the biggest thing, I think. The biggest advice that I have for young writers is that you've got to be flexible. You've got to be flexible, and you've got to weigh your expectations against the reality of the situation. Writing can be super fun. But at the same time, it is work, and nothing comes easy. It just doesn't, because that's just how it is. Anyway, if you have any writing questions or want me to do vlogs about specific topics in writing, then leave some comments, because I like the comments. Do it. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's because I'm probably so used to typing. Anyway, that's it. Talk to you later.